Mental Health Monday on Radio City Talk. Tackling the stigma.
So my name's Mick Coyle, and every Monday on Radio City Talk we do Mental Health Monday, where we sit down and we talk about, well, our feelings, because that's what it's all about. Mental Health Monday, every single Monday, right here on the home of Rock, Sport and Talk, Radio City Talk. If you want to get involved in Mental Health Monday, you're more than welcome to. You can email the programme, mick@radiocity.co.uk. You can also tweet during the programme. We are at Radio City Talk and have your say. Maybe just want to download the podcast. That's also available for everybody. You can just type in Mental Health Monday podcast into your search engine. All the details will come up. All the details also on the website, radiocitytalk.co.uk. If you're involved in an event that you want to tell us about from a mental health point of view, by all means, get involved on the programme. Tell me about that too. The team behind the Feeling Funny course, by the way, have been back in touch. They were on a number of weeks ago, organised by the Comedy Trust, and they basically organise for men over the age of 18 a stand-up comedy session, and you can basically go in and you meet over a period of evenings and you learn how to do stand-up routines. It increases your confidence, mental well-being, reducing stress and anxiety. Believe me, it does. And at the end of it, if you want, you can go and perform a stand-up comedy routine. Well, there are some places available on the next course, which is taking place from the 24th of October at the Merseyside Youth Association on Hanover Street. 15 places are available on that course. If you want to get involved in that, and the guys have been on the show before talking about it, you can do via Helen Holden, who is the project manager. Her email address is helen@thecomedytrust.com. That's helen@thecomedytrust.com. There's a previous episode, actually, of Mental Health Monday where we talk about the benefits of that course. You can be part of it. helen@thecomedytrust.com. Thanks to the guys for sending that information across. Pleased to give it a mention here on Radio City Talk's Mental Health Monday. Now, my first guest on the show today is going to talk about an organisation which has sprung up, which uses music to help people out when it comes to their own mental health. From the organisation We Are Hummingbird, I'm very pleased to say John Logue joins us in the studio. John, it's great to see you. Thank you for your time.
And you, Mick.
And you are officially wearing some We Are Hummingbird merch.
I'm on brand.
Good stuff.
I'm on message.
And actually, that's what we're going to touch on. In the second part of the show, we're going to be speaking to Aidan Hatfield from In Music We Trust. They run with the strapline Music as Medicine. So I thought, well, this is a good opportunity to get two groups and organisations together. Bit of a conflab you can have between you in terms of the work that you do. Tell us about We Are Hummingbird. Who's Hummingbird?
So the kind of idea came from, I used to live in Australia, and we used to help out with an awareness campaign out there for surfing called Fluoro Friday. And the guys would go down to the beach on Bondi Beach. It's very glamorous, and they're all dressed in fluoro, and people would kind of come and ask what was going on. And the kind of idea of using awareness and using a community to talk about mental health was something that was, I guess, in the back of my mind. Unfortunately, then a personal kind of friend was affected by mental health, and it was such a dramatic thing that happened to us all. Lots of us kind of thought about different ways of helping, so whether it was raising money for Calm or Mind or all these brilliant charities. But I think, as I said to you, I was not very good at running, and I didn't really think that was the best use of my talents. So as a professional, I guess, marketeer, it's my job, the idea was to use the community of music to raise this awareness. And Hummingbird's all about the idea that we can get musicians and people to put together 10 songs that mean a lot to them, and then through their social media they come and visit that on our website. But at the bottom of the website we work with the NHS, and we have a lot of curated advice there. So the idea is that people come and find out what their favourite band's doing. At the moment it's Greg Holden, we've had Twin Atlantic, we've had lots of big bands, but through osmosis they start to think about mental health. And for us it's not about the well, it is as much about that, but the one person out of 100 at a gig that maybe is affected by mental health, we obviously want them to know they're okay, but it's the 99 others that are fortunate at that time that aren't, that start to learn a bit about it and maybe go and reach out to their friends. So Hummingbird for us is, you know, the word a hummingbird is has a lot of kind of history about it. It's a personal thing for us, but it's always been more about the community, and the idea of being we are all hummingbirds is about recruiting people to use this incredible kind of cross-country gender thing, which is music. And whether you like hip hop or you like rock and roll, you know, there's always something there to bring you together.
So you approach these people, or they approach you, and they say, "Can I put together a playlist?" And those playlists are tracks which are presumably to them, personal to them, tracks that they've either chosen, maybe tracks that they've written and performed on themselves. Is there anything, or should we try and read anything into the tracks about how they feel, how we should feel, or is it for people just to take a listen and go, okay, this puts this person in one frame of mind, I can appreciate that, or I might disagree with those particular, or I might not like those particular choices?
Well, I mean, what we do as well is we get the the tracks, and then we also have a short kind of prose from the guys. So sometimes bands will talk about their own understanding of mental health or how music helps them, or sometimes it's just these are the songs we listen to that help us chill out. And music is so personal to people, and its effect of what one song is for someone's wedding song is another one's breakup song, is another one's cathartic piece that they wrote. And I think we do let people read into it as much as possible, but really it's sometimes difficult to explain what a song is to someone because you kind of ruin it for someone else.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the things, isn't it? So Greg Holden, The Capital, Hummingbird, White Tar by the Bronx, The Final Furlong by Matthew James Cogley, brilliant track. Bob Dylan, Like a Rolling Stone, Bon Iver, Beth and Rest, Band of Horses, Is There a Ghost, When You Were Young, The Killers, All Things Must Pass, George Harrison, Give Me Something Good by Ryan Adams, and Doors, A Little Bit of Everything. So it's pretty eclectic, isn't it?
Totally.
The sort of things that are coming down. So when you get the list through, when people go, right, I've got my list, do they give you all 10 or do they give you 12 and you go, well, maybe that one's not appropriate? Or do you then curate the individual choices they've made?
We work so hard to get these artists to do it sometimes. We would be fearful that we changed anything. But, I mean, we've had, I hate to use normal people, but non-successful musicians have put forward Hummingbird playlists as well. So it really is down to them, and I think it's a lovely insight sometimes when you get someone like a rock band and they're putting really passionate, quiet piece of music, and inversely, you have things that are maybe hip-hop. The element of music to help your mood state depends probably on what mood you're in. So if you do want to go to the gym, you might listen to something more upbeat. If you're in love, you might listen to something very melancholy. If you're not in love, you might listen to something melancholy. So the real kind of the diversity of the playlist, I think, is a really important part. But really, for us, the playlists are they're a kind of mechanic to get people to come to the website, because the website is more about the kind of curated advice that we've got. One of the big insights we had is that, I guess, if you think about the journey of mental health, I just use the word journey, at the point where you want to go and look for help, at the point where you go and find that help, within the medical kind of facilities we've got, it can be up to sort of 12 weeks, 3-4 months. So we can't affect that. But what we can do is shorten the time for them to find that help. And people are, concerned about Googling certain things on their phones or, don't want to go and ask for it. So the idea is that we've already worked with the NHS to find these links straight through is the important part. The music element's brilliant, but really it's more about, trying to get people to make that first step.
And actually, we found that so many times on the show that actually, I talked about the Feeling Funny comedy course. That's about stand-up comedy. We had Everton in the community on talking about the work that they do, and that's about using football, but it's dragging people in. And then what you do is then you've created an environment whereby you can then bring in the other aspects of it, and people feel safe because they're within a football environment, they're in a comedy environment, they're in a musical environment. There's different sections on the wearehummingbird.com website. People can go on depression, stress, anxiety and suicide. A lot of great support from Merseycare NHS.
And they're the people that we first kind of reached out to. It's a funny story. I felt compelled to do something, and I ended up to blag my way in front of the director of mental health, and I said, look, I can help, and she said, how? And I said, I'm not sure, but I'll come up with something. And they were very excited to have kind of people come in so enthusiastic, and kind of my friend Ben and I who started it. And the idea out the back of it was obviously music, but I guess as a marketeer, you look at the biggest places that you can get hold of people. And, if you think about every single night across this city, across this country, there's bands playing, right up to 250,000 people watching a guy and a guitar at Glastonbury. So it's not often that you get these communities, these churches in one place. So our feeling is if we can get someone to make that conversation within this musical genre, it's, the stuff that Leverton's doing is brilliant, but it's only Everton fans. The Barbers are doing it, it's only guys who get their beer cut. Everyone loves music, and I guess that's the thing that we thought was great about Hummingbird. It's totally inclusive, and if you don't like music, then there must be another charity out there that maybe's got an idea, but we think we cover most bases.
Before they kick off, Everton in the community, I know that you approach both people, red and blue. Don't worry. I'll correct him. Wearehummingbird.com. John Logue is with us in the studio. It's Mental Health Monday. What is it for you, John, about music? It's hard to put your finger on this one, but music can... it touches every sense, doesn't it? Hearing different pieces of music can take you back. It can take you back to a good place. It can take you back to a bad place. There's something about music which almost represents, in some ways, our souls, if you like, and can capture little time machine moments in a way that other things simply can't.
Oh, totally. And I think, without sounding like a marketeer, it's, we've made quotes that it's more powerful than magic. it punctuates time. It brings you to the best and worst times of your life within a second of hearing it. But I guess the thing for me is that music for me is its embodiment is seeing it live. And there's not many times apart from when a goal goes in at a football match, which is, a small percentage of that 90 minutes. You're consistently feeling an energy in a group of people. And I think to harness that can be super cathartic. And a lot of the people that have spoke to us about how music's helped, it takes them away from maybe that daily problem. And then from the other aspect of being a fan to then a huge part of our thinking is trying to get to a point where we can work with musicians. What music does for them is it's able to kind of balance them out, for want of a better word. And, if you look at a lot of the musicians in the world that produce this very incredible music, without that, they would have been in a worse place. And I think music is a piece of art, mental health, working with the arts, whether it's comedy or painting or, all these kind of aspects. The more you read into it, it's about taking your brain thought process to another place, and I think music does that, whether you're listening, performing, watching. It's something incredible.
And I think what's great with We Are Hummingbird is it flags that up. It almost becomes the sort of the thing that you notice about the fact that you've gone. And people have these sort of, and everyone's kind of gone to a gig where they've had almost like a religious experience there because it's been so unbelievable. And everyone's been there, and there's been a person on stage talking about how they feel, singing about their emotions, representing their emotions and their, the way that they think through music, pouring it out in front of people they don't know.
Yeah.
And essentially that's in many ways what the mental health message has really been all about. Don't be afraid to talk. People sing back, people join in, people link arms with people you don't know. And it seems strange that you would then walk away from that gig and go, right, so should we share our emotions? And people go, nah, it's not for me.
No.
It's just happened. It's just happened. But actually through organisations like yourself, I wonder whether or not actually that can be a thing. Go, right, be aware that this is the thing that's just happened. It doesn't have to be right now everybody goes and sits in therapy or everyone goes and sits in a clinical environment. Actually having that experience for some can be a huge boost to mental health. It makes you feel good. Your mental health improves.
And I mean, obviously I've listened back to your podcast, so I'm a big fan. A lot of the expertise that you speak to and we've spoken about, the immediate impact of telling someone that you're not feeling as you would expect to, or that you were thinking of doing something and you spoke about it, that the instant kind of percentage drops of people that were going to commit suicide but then told someone about it, that kind of honesty of speaking to people is something really, really important. And there's an incredible pieces of work done every day by medical professionals who go through therapy and all these kind of aspects. But just the simple stuff of chatting to your mate and saying, dude, I've had a really tough year and I wanted to tell you, can instantly change not just your life, but what we've really found is that the amount of times that we've reached out, whether it's people helping us, whether it's artistically or playlists or just generally T-shirts, whatever, they'll come to us and go, do you know what? I had a really tough couple of years ago, and then I went to see someone, and it's almost been a facilitator for these conversations, completely separate to what we're trying to do with music. It's just whatever's going to get people to talk and bring it out into the forum is good.
In
and
terms
if we can
of
do it music, it's great.
In terms of the music that's out there and that's available, is there any emotion, any range of emotion you think that won't appear on one of your playlists at some point in the next 6 months? Because people will do that. As a young man growing up, often you go, "Oh, nobody understands me, nobody gets me." Then you listen to a particular song or you listen to a particular artist, and you go, "Right, they get me or I get them," and I can feel a connection there. It may well be that people listen to tracks and go, "Oh, right, that taps into something, that puts into words a thought that was in my head that I couldn't or didn't have the power to exemplify." Yeah.
And I guess a couple of the partners that we've started work with, the kind of obvious one for me was I wanted to work with Kerrang because it's my style of music. But the people that own Kerrang also own Mixmag, and they said, "Look, we'd like to get some DJs to give you playlists," which wasn't in my head initially. And you then start to think about, well, all the different people that listen to different styles of music out there, and the people affected, DJs have an opportunity to speak to thousands of people, but there might not even be lyrics in that. But the effect it can have on people is stunning. So I think the more eclectic, the more styles, the more different types of music we can have on the playlists, it will be brilliant, because otherwise it would just be Biffy Clyro if I was enjoying it every day.
wearehummingbird.com. You can find out more information. And then you're working right across social media. So you've got Instagram account, which gives people updates as to what's going on, the Spotify. But through Spotify, can you do essentially a subscribe?
You can follow, yeah. And you can go back to all of their old ones. And I guess 2.0 of our website, which is coming along, we'll have more and more engagement. But yeah, you can go on, follow the Spotify's, and whether you hit the website or the Instagram, you'll still each week get to see who the new guy is, which is brilliant. Or girl.
Music brought us together. Now we will never be apart. Music is what binds us, it says. It's what we all believe in. It's maybe what has saved us from time to time. We are all hummingbirds. And a little kiss on that one. We are hummingbird.com. Find out more information. John, stick around, actually, because in the next part of the programme, we're going to be speaking to Aidan Hatfield from In Music We Trust. They do their own range of merch. You do your own as well. And you can do We Are Hummingbird t-shirts as well. People can get them on your Facebook page.
Yeah, or if you just drop us an email, there's links through. We will be, again, making some kind of shop thing, but it's all part-time for a lot of us, so we're getting there. But yeah, drop us an email and we'll be more than happy to get you a t-shirt.
We are hummingbird.com. It's Mental Health Monday on Radio City Talk.
Mental Health Monday with Mick Coyle.
Yeah, so it's Mental Health Monday. Today we're talking about music and how music can help when it comes to people's mental health. So if you want to get involved in the programme, you can do. Drop us your emails, mick@radiocity.co.uk. That's mick@radiocity.co.uk. Already on the programme, we've been hearing from John from We Are Hummingbird, wearehummingbird.com, to find out about the work that they're doing and the playlist that you can check out via Spotify. They've also got loads of different stuff on Facebook, links to their website, also through YouTube as well. Just type in wearehummingbird.com is the website. You get loads of information there. Looking at music and how music can help. Music as medicine, if you like. Joining us now on the programme, we've got Aidan Hatfield. Now, Aidan's from an organisation called In Music We Trust, and he has a range of merch as well he's going to tell us about now. Aidan, thank you for your time. Thanks for joining us on Mental Health Monday.
Thank you. No worries. How are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. We've got John Logan in the studio as well from We Are Hummingbird. So if you two want to hook up, with some deals that you want to work out between you, that's absolutely fine. 10% goes to Mental Health Monday. 10% of goodwill. If it's not financial, don't worry about that. First and foremost, though, the idea of music as medicine, Aidan, tell us where that idea comes from.
Well, so well, music is my medicine is one of the slogans on one of the T-shirts that we actually sell at the moment. So I personally have played and listened to and written and watched and everything with music from being quite a young age. And it's been my way of dealing with certain things that I've been going through. So I personally suffer with depression. I'm very open about suffering with depression, and I encourage other people to do the same. Now, I am a strong believer that the reason that I've managed to deal with my depression is because I'm so heavily involved with music. So I play music for a living. I'm a musician in a band. I run a studio, and then the clothing brand that I started, the In Music We Trust clothing brand, is based on that idea that music can help us deal with whatever it is that we might be going through. So it's a massive part of my life, and has helped me come to terms with the fact that I have depression, but also helped me to come forward and encourage other people to be open about it as well. It's just such a strong, powerful thing. It's been my only form of medicine when dealing with depression, and I can't see why it wouldn't be the same for other people as well.
Was there a moment? Was there a chord? Was there a chord change? Was there a song? Was there a band? Was there a music experience that you witnessed, you partook in, and you suddenly thought, this puts me in a better place?
Well, I guess it was. Probably my very first experience of guitars, if you like. So a friend of my dad's bought a guitar, didn't want to take it home to his wife and tell her how much he'd spent on it. So instead he brought it to our house to show us and show it off and so on. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I was about 13 at the time, and then basically went out and bought a guitar as a result of that, and haven't stopped being so heavily involved in music since then. And I think it's been sort of a slow progression, but this was way before I understood that I was dealing with depression as well. So I think at the time I couldn't quite understand what music was doing to me in a positive way, because I didn't understand what was happening to me in a negative way. But now that I look back, I can now fully understand why I saw that guitar, and I just went, yes, this is me. This is everything that I want to become. This is what I want to do, and this is what I want to be involved in.
Often, Aidan, when you hear and you speak to musicians about sort of the highs and lows, that the incredible highs, the adulation and the crowds and so on, are often hit by the lows, the long hours, the touring, the loneliness of hotel rooms and so on and so forth. Is that a balance that you've got to strike yourself?
Yeah, I think so. You're definitely right in terms of the performing and everything being the high point. But then again, just like anybody that's working hard towards something that they want to achieve, there's always going to be the low points, because it's rare that somebody wants to achieve something and there's not hard work involved. When there's hard work involved, you hit obstacles. You have moments where you're like, where you wonder why you've chosen to do this with your life, where you wonder why you've chosen to be a musician or whatever else you've chosen to do. And yeah, that's no different from me. You know, playing live music is absolutely amazing. I get to jump around in the daftest way possible and have people watch me do that. But then at the same time, I have days where I'm at home, I'm writing a song and I'm going, I'm no good at this. Why have I decided to do this? You know, this song is just not writing. It's not happening. I'm trying to book these shows and I'm not getting messages back. And it can really, that kind of thing can be really disheartening. But then, like I said, you're on stage or you put out that music video or even just not, you know, even if you do just finish writing a song and no one hears it at the moment that you finish writing it, but you then sort of go, okay, this is why I do this, because the amazing feeling that I feel right now is worth 10 times. It's worth those low days that I have, because it just brings you up so much, and it's so amazing. It really is.
Aidan Hatfield is with us on Mental Health Monday. In Music We Trust, they have a clothing brand as well. He's also a musician himself. 50% of the profits from the clothing brand go to Mind, which is a fantastic charity. We're talking with the team from We Are Hummingbird, and we're discussing, you know, these playlist tracks that mean something to you. Aidan, do you have like a track that you listen to if you're ever struggling a little bit? If you have a particularly low period, a particular artist where you go to and think, right, that's a safe place, if you like?
It varies. I'm probably the same as anybody else, where it completely varies from day to day. Obviously, there's bands that I always go back and listen to. I've always been a big fan of Guns N' Roses. That comes from my dad. He's a big fan, and you know, I got into them through him and so on. More recently, there's bands like Biffy Clyro, who I heard you mention before as well, actually, that I absolutely love. But for me, it's I guess the playing of music more than anything. It's the playing. So a lot of people ask me, you know, how do you deal with your depression when you're having a bad moment? I don't deal with it from moment to moment. It's not a case of I feel bad right now. It's a case of what do I do with my entire life to bring myself up? And that's a case of working hard, working towards something I want to do with my life, not working a job that I hate, being healthy, exercising, eating good food. So that's kind of how I deal with those whole things, rather than just sticking on that one song. That being said, if I had to choose, I think probably anything from, like, going back to Guns N' Roses, but more specifically, I'd probably say November Rain by them, because that song, like I said, my dad got me into that band, and that song's his favorite song, and it's not necessarily my favorite song, but it just lets me know that I can do what I need to do, because he's always been very supportive. And it reminds me of him, basically. And this isn't, I mean, he's still around. This isn't, you know, like in memory of my dad. But yeah, I think probably that song more than anything is a massive song for me any day.
And I guess as well, if you're struggling with the way you're feeling, Nothing Lasts Forever, Even Cold November Rain is a pretty good lyric to go at, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. There's so much poetry just in that one lyric alone. And that song, I mean, if you listen to that song, it's not just, it doesn't sound like one song for me. It sounds like two songs put together. It works. It doesn't sound, out of nowhere. But I think it's amazing how it does that. And everyone has got different feelings. We're not people made up of just one emotion. So I feel like that's possibly why that song speaks so strongly to me as well. It's not just one song that helps me deal with this one emotion. It goes through so many paces throughout that song, and I think that's part of the reason why it does speak to me so loudly.
Nothing lasts forever, and we both know hearts can change, and it's hard to hold a candle in the cold November rain. It's an absolute classic. If I had to listen to that or Bohemian Rhapsody, I would take November Rain every single day of the week. It's a great shout, Aidan. Aidan, if people want to get involved in Music We Trust, you do good old-fashioned merch. What sort of stuff are you selling through the website in musicwetrust.com or are you .co.uk?
.co.uk.
.co.uk.
The .com was already taken by somebody else. I believe it's like an online magazine by someone in the US. But yeah, in musicwetrust.co.uk. It's mostly T-shirts, and it is there for people to wear the T-shirts and say, I love music. You know, I absolutely love music. It's for them to say that. It says it all. It says in music we trust all across the T-shirts. And like I said before, one of the other slogans that we have on the T-shirts is "Music is my medicine." And then it's got this old style gramophone on there as well, which is quite a strong thing for a lot of people. But yeah, so T-shirts. There's a goodie bag on there, which is like you get a tote bag and a wristband and a sticker and a badge and a patch and a couple of other stuff. And then there's beanies and then the snapback hats, which are like the flat peak kind of hats. That's the kind of stuff we do. And 50% of the profits go to the Mind charity, who absolutely fantastic charity. They support people with all sorts of mental health issues, but they do also support people with depression and anxiety and things related to that kind of thing. And they do absolutely amazing work. They really do.
Plectrums as well. I like the idea of the plectrum. Great stuff.
Yeah, the plectrum's a good one.
Thank you for your time, Aidan. Really appreciate you coming on the programme today. We wish you all the best. Do keep us up to date with events that you got going on as well. Good luck with the music career and everything in between. And thanks for joining us on Mental Health Monday.
You're more than welcome. Thank you.
That's Aidan Hatfield in musicwetrust.co.uk and picking out November Rain there. When I look into your eyes, I can see a love restrained, but darling, when I hold you, don't know how I feel the same. John, do you want me to carry on?
I'm loving this.
If we could take the time to lay it on the line, I could rest my head just knowing that you are mine, all mine. So if you want to love me, then darling, don't refrain, or I'll just end up walking in the cold November rain. When that kicks in, that track, it's absolutely glorious.
The fact that that's all from memory is super
Yeah,
impressive.
well, you know. Yeah, absolutely. The video as well is an absolute belter. Brilliant to get both of you on the show today. And actually echoes there of what you were saying about music as therapy. Aidan finding it on stage as well. I know you've done a little bit of performing yourself as well. Did you understand his points there when you were saying when you get up on stage and you get those moments?
I totally. And I think I was in a singer-songwriter, and then I acquired a band. I never got into one. They all just kind of started turning up. But that opportunity when you come off stage together was just amazing, and that kind of unity. It was like being in a team. And I think you know the loneliness and the kind of the down points of your life. I think any kind of music, whether you're in the crowd or you're on stage together, it's those kind of collective moments, and it's the sharing. And at the end of the day, we were saying before, the sharing of understanding whether it's you have felt the same. I'm not on my own. I'm not broken. Everyone has things that are slightly different to each other, but in that moment we understand what's going on. I mean, that's exactly what I think music is. All other parts of art are brilliant, but you don't often stand in front of a painting with 20,000 people.
But it's an old. Anyone who's been to sort of a major gig recently where it's been 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 people. That thing where sometimes you might feel like you're on your own in the world. Except the thing that you like, guess what? There's another 10,000 people who all like you thought, oh, I want to go and see them. Now, it may have been many different reasons why they chose to see a particular, but you'll go, right, well, there's a connection among everybody here because we all looked at this and said, absolutely, that's what I want to spend my money on. That's the sort of gig that I want to go to. And that can happen on any scale, be it watching the Killers playing at Wembley or going seeing, a local band down the pub. There's a connection that people can find in all those, and we should almost embrace it and not be afraid of like flagging up the fact that it's taking place.
Totally. Like my favourite place in the world is a festival. And I think it's not even just the music element of the festival, the collective kind of feeling that no one's judging what you're wearing or kind of worried about what they've got to do that day. Everyone's just kind of, their heart's open for that day, and you'll be in a queue to the toilet or at a bar, and you might meet your next best friend there. And I think that's facilitated by music. So all types of music and all types of occasions around music are good for the soul.
Two great websites worth checking out off the back of today's show, inmusicwetrust.co.uk and wearehummingbird.com. John Logue, thank you for your time. Great to see you.
Thanks so much.
Before that, Aidan Hatfield as well, and we'll get links to all the guys on our social media. We are at Radio City Talk. If you want to get involved in Mental Health Monday, you can do. Drop me an email and tell us about maybe an organisation that you're involved in, the work that you're doing. Maybe you just want to share your story on the programme. Mick at radiocity.co.uk is the email address. That never changes. That's Mick at radiocity.co.uk.
Mental Health Monday with Mick Coyle.
This is Radio City Talk.